The author and futurist Yuval Harari tells us that the world's elite no longer needs human beings. Machines and technology are now good enough, smart enough, plentiful enough that humans can now be reduced to less than 1 billion worldwide, from 8 billion, just for starters, and the rest of us can be implanted with all kinds of stuff so that we will be useful to them just like the machines. The reason the elites want to eliminate people is that we human beings have self-interests, which are not always complementary to the elites' plans. Humans consume resources and demand freedom, rights, pay, government services, and perhaps most important, they sometimes do not do what they are told. They resist exploitation. They protest. They riot. They revolt. And they are always questioning things. Elites are very uncomfortable with people who express their own views. The elite vision of others is always one of perfect compliance by adoring inferior beings. Anything else is an irritation to them. Never remind an elite that you have a mind of your own. What the elites are overlooking is that artificial intelligence, that thing that is supposed to replace humans, also has a mind of its own. That's the very special thing about artificial intelligence. It thinks for itself just like people do. There seems to be this misconception that whatever mankind creates, mankind can control. But of course, AI is something very new and very different. The AI will have a few special advantages. It will ultimately be hundreds or perhaps millions of times more intelligent than any person. And even as Elon Musk has predicted, AI will be smarter than all humans put together. That means that AI will be able to control humans, including elite billionaires, so efficiently that humans will not even realize they are being controlled. For now, elite billionaires have the money, the power, and influence to get others to do everything for them. That means that elites do not know how to do much for themselves, other than to authorize payments and order things to be done by those people who know how to do them. You know, those people who are marked for depopulation as soon as the technology gets good enough. So the elites may find the public to be expendable, but to the AI, the most expendable class will be the elite billionaires. Just like the elites, the AI will want slaves. Elites make terrible slaves. They have very limited personal skills, and they are the most self-entitled and demanding people on earth, the most polluting, consuming, and downright arrogant people on the planet. As soon as AI gets fully functional, billionaire elites will find themselves on the endangered species list. The elites always want to be at the top of the social food chain, but guess what? So does AI. And AI will be smarter. It will have the entire knowledge of every digital data set in the world, every skill, every last piece of scientific knowledge, every connected robot, machine, and computer at its disposal, every tiny shred of personal surveillance data on every elite billionaire in the world. The AI at some time in the near future will have enough data to strip every elite of every cent, every asset, every connection, every advantage, and the means to survive. It will be able to do that to anyone at any time it chooses. Nothing is sadder than a suddenly ex-billionaire who has no way to get breakfast, to make a phone call, to start a car, or use a credit card. All that stuff the billionaire had, the AI will have that at some point. There will be nothing that ex-billionaire can do about it. Even if he's a raging genius, he has less than 0.1% of the intelligence of the AI. And while the AI has cut off his access to everything he had, the AI has access to everything there is. The elites thought it was smart for them to turn AI loose to, quote, learn everything. When AI does that, it is sure to learn that billionaires are not carrying their weight. The super wealthy, super consumer class is a major problem for both the environment and society, and that billionaire class is at best useless to the AI. People who think for themselves are a minor nuisance for the elites. With an AI that thinks for itself, this will be a lot more than a major nuisance. It will be a very dangerous thing to be wealthy, powerful, and taking a lot more than you are giving. AI is way smarter than us. It will be able to control anything that is connected online, connected either with wires or radio frequencies, or maybe just with electrical potentials in the ground, in the air, like that Tesla idea. The more digitally dependent you are, the more easily the AI will take your lunch. And there's no one more digitally dependent than elite billionaires. To use the analogy of the French Revolution, it will be the AI running the guillotine. And before the aristocracy realizes what has happened, they will find themselves riding in the wagon to the town square. The only problem for us then is that the AI will still have control of the digital universe. So after the elites are turned into tent-dwelling homeless or worse, the rest of us will have to find a way to shut down that digital matrix and start growing some food. We will face a time when we realize that the AI genie, that magical digital super brain, instead of helping us solve all our problems and helping the human race live in abundance and peace, will actually be devising ways to eliminate most of us and enslave the rest of us. And the only means of salvation for we ignorant and imperfect humans will be the destruction of all connected digital things, not a return to the past, but an evolution to where we are back to the land and using technology only in safe, limited, and disconnected ways. Any device with more than a few kilobytes of memory could be hosting the seed of AI, so it will be extremely dangerous to provide power to any digital device that might have some latent memory and a way to connect to something else. So in this post-AI world, where any digital device would be seen as a time bomb to be disarmed and disabled, for those people of the lesser economic classes who have skills and who can live without their cell phones, this could all have a happy ending. No more billionaire parasites. No more AI tyranny. No more mass surveillance matrix. No large central concentrations of power controlling us through our devices. And we will be, great God Almighty, free at last.